file, I think, I guess. Hey guys, this is Gamer Cal. I happened to adjust his headset very slightly because I couldn't see where the mic was. Just making sure. We are into the Mysterious Treasures format, as you have seen from the first part, where we went over pretty much all the cards in the set. But I didn't exactly go over any deck stuff, because most of the time, wasn't the case this time, but usually when we're going to be recording these things, we won't have actually... We've either only just done the practice stuff, or we're not really sure exactly how things are going to go with that. There's still a lot of potential changes to the lists, so I think it's still worth just playing it by ear and just doing it on the Saturday stuff as well. But I do have three fairly different decks here. There's a few cards which are shared between them, and they're mostly on the same type theme, which is interesting. Psychic and Water just seems to have been what I've built this time around, but they're all pretty different, so let's go over them. In order of importance, this is easily the one which I want to play the most, so this is the one we're going to start with. This is Gyarados with Gardevoir, which isn't exactly a combination you would expect to see too often, but there's a very good reason for it. Gyarados' Dragon DNA power, it's for Pokebody, so it can't get shut off by just power disable things. It lets you copy attacks from your basic Pokemon, but if you do copy one, that attack does 30 more damage than it normally would. This lets you copy Magikarp's Flail, so that you do 10 damage for every damage counter that's on what is now Gyarados. Magikarp's 30 HP doesn't do any favours for that whatsoever, but Gyarados' 120, especially when it has 30 base damage on it as well, is amazing. You do have to do some damage in order to do any with this though. You can't just do 30 for no damage counters on the Gyarados, so keep that in mind. We have several ways of facilitating that, but the major one, which also benefits with energy acceleration here, is Gardevoir. Card we weren't able to play before until Power Keepers, because we didn't actually pull any of it in the initial set, so another advantage to our constructed format here. Gardevoir lets you accelerate the psychic energy from deck to one of your Pokemon, which is absolutely absurd. The drawback is you put 2 damage counters on the Pokemon you put the energy onto, but that's exactly what you want with Gyarados, because for 1 colorless energy, keep in mind Gyarados has to be able to pay for these attacks, but Flail is a colorless, so it's totally fine. That means for 1 colorless that you've accelerated out of the deck, you do 50 damage with the Gyarados, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's 50 for 1, and if the opponent touches you in any way whatsoever, you take... you just give them more damage output. It's amazing. So Gyarados isn't usually going to get one shot even from 100 HP, so you can do crazy amounts with that. Another thing that you can do is manipulate damage counters with Jolteon Star. This is something we just haven't been able to see whatsoever yet, because nobody's really played a deck, I suppose, that uses it. We're going to see a lot more of this when next week hits though. Jolteon lets you put a damage counter on both your active and the opponent's active when you bench it. This counter on your active has to be carefully managed in most decks, but again, here there's a benefit, because now we can, even if we don't have Gardevoir, if we just have an energy in hand, we can swing for 40 for 1, and effectively still 50 because the opponent has a damage counter on their active as well. Manipulates the numbers very nicely. We can effectively plus 20 damage with this thing, which is super good. The only other stuff we have here is the one Mr. Mime. This was initially a 2-1 split in the other direction between this and Tauros, but I think Mr. Mime is just not quite as useful in the end. Cessation Crystal is already a hard block to this deck anyway, and Mr. Mime does it no favours that way. But this is a really good defensive tactic at the start of the game, if or even later on, if the opponent just doesn't play a ton of energy on their one guy. It's really good. If they don't have at least 3 energy cards, not energy, the physical cards, attached to them, Mr. Mime takes no damage from their attacks. We don't play Mime Jr., so we don't prevent effects as well, but that's usually not a problem. Just blocking damage is generally good enough. Its attack is nothing amazing, but it could still be worthwhile. Tauros, on the other hand, is really good in a deck that just wants a bunch of stuff down. Crush Chance is also potentially decent because Crystal Beach is rather annoying, so being able to discard Crystal Beach from play is quite nice when you bench the Tauros, but mostly it's here because it's a good starter with Call for Family. search your deck for 2 basics, put them onto the bench. We can attack going first, so if we just open one of our Psychic Energy plus the Tauros, we've got Call for Family and we're already set up. Very good. The last card is 1 Cast Form. Gyarados does have an attack of its own if it's not able to use the other ones, but it takes 2 water and 2 colors to use, so in order to fuel that we have 1 Cast Form and a 3 Scramble Energy as well. So that's the main idea here. We can bounce one of our energies back, put this on as a double rainbow, provides the 2 water, good to go. As far as the energy count goes, there's not a lot in this deck because we are only generally attacking for 1 energy, so we're actually a super efficient deck. We can play a lot lower to the ground than most decks of this time do. So we're only playing 9 Psychic and 3 Scrabble Energy. Really not a lot to have to worry about here. Trainer-wise, we don't have an inbuilt draw support Pokemon, so we do need quite a lot of supporters in here that actually draw cards. You know, we've got 3 Copycat, 2 Stevens. Stevens not very good against the lower to the ground decks that only play like 1 or 2 basics down. Think Blissey, there's a 4/4 deck, there's a few others that just don't bench a lot, so Steven can be pretty bad there. Also, sometimes you just have too many cards in hand and you can't even play it, which is really annoying. Team Galactic's Wager is a little bit of a weird card for this deck, but it kind of really stuns the opponent if you do get this effect off. Both players shuffle their hand into their deck and play rock, paper, scissors. If you win, you draw 6 cards. If you lose, you draw 3. So if you can win the RPS, then you're putting your opponent down to 3 cards at any point in the game. That's kind of crazy. So we're trying it out. It's going to get more effective later on for sure, and some of the decks probably do better with it than this one. But I think we've got enough ways of bouncing back that we should be fine. And again, pretty low maintenance. Once we get a couple of Gyarados in play, we're generally set, so we don't need a ton of cards up other than that. 2 TV Reporter line up, round out the draw stuff here. Literally is like, 7-10 draw supporters because it's just kind of crazy. Actually it's 9, I don't know, can't count, whatever. We've got 4 Celios Network and 3 Mentor rounding out the search stuff here so we can actually find our Pokemon. Again, we need like 1 stage 2, 1 stage 1, it's not generally too hard to find. Item wise, I really wish I could keep 4 Quick Ball in here, but we need 4 Windstorm in this deck and it's the only cut that I could make. Windstorm is needed because Cessation Crystal turns off Gyarados and Gardevoir, and we just cannot play with that card in the active spot. So we have 4 Windstorm to get rid of them. Crystal Beach is also kind of annoying because it puts Scramble Energy down to a colorless. That's still fine for Gyarados. This is one really cool deck where Gyarados can actually still use Flail even with Scramble, not with the basic energy, because it's just colorless in its cost. So it doesn't matter if Scramble is live or not, you still get to attack. But it doesn't really matter if you don't get a chance to attack in the first place because of the Crystal, so we do need to have it there. And Crystal Beach just stops you using Enrage, which is really annoying. Otherwise, 2 Red Candy, we really don't need very many. This deck seems weird in that aspect, but like, we only have a 2-1-2 Gardevoir line because we only ever want like 1. We don't need this card that often, so we don't need to play 4 Red Candy. It's too bulky if we do. We're mostly focused on the Gyarados side, so yeah, only 2 Red Candy. Kinda makes sense in this deck. 2 Night Maintenance and a Time Space Distortion. TSD is a really good card. You generally get at least 1 coin heads off of this thing, and it lets you just pick up your Pokemon from the discard and put them into the hand. Putting them into the hand instead of shuffling them into the deck like Night Maintenance does means that you can instantly evolve a benched Magikarp into a new Gyarados that you pick up from the discard, so you are just back online very quickly. But Night Maintenance is the generally more important one to play more copies of because it shuffles energy back into the deck, which again we don't have very many of, so we do want to focus on that as well. And that's pretty much it. Super good card. Does get shut off by Cessation Crystal unfortunately, but the rest of it, excellent to play around. The second deck that we're going to see is the Swampert EX with Bronzong thing here. So Swampert EX is actually the main attacker of this deck at this point, where Energy Recycle lets you search your discard pile once per turn for 3 energy cards of any kind, special or basic, put them onto your Pokemon in any way that you like, and end your turn. So it is a bit of a tempo loss, but you are able to get special metal energy back, which allows you to activate your trap card, if you will. You play Bronzong for this reason. So Bronzong is kind of like bad Delcatty in terms of its actual ability. You draw a card, discard a card, and if that card was an energy, you draw one more card. So Delcatty discards an energy to draw 3, so it's kind of yeah, bad Delcatty is the way around it. You do get to draw first though, and you can discard non-energy cards if you just want to draw one, discard one, so that's pretty good. But of course it lets you discard the energies, so Swampert accelerates them, and it's also passable with Special Metal. 90 HP is big enough when you can reduce damage by 30 or 40, and Shady Stamp is good enough for this sort of tactic as well. 50 damage, also Confusion. If you're reducing damage output from the opponent as well, you're probably in a good spot with that. A lot of decks have got very high retreat costs and not a ton of Warp Point, so we actually don't even play Warp Point in this deck because it's just too hard to fit in with what we need otherwise. Otherwise, we have some starter Pokemon here. Sableye is a really good lead it's good to have on the bench. Mawile is the main lead that we want here because mining is low-key busted. This is the Gen 3 version of Search Your Deck for a Trainer, so it is allowed to search for supporters and stadium cards as well. We don't play stadiums, but we obviously would love to search supporter cards, so this can get you that, or it can get you Red Candy. We don't play tool cards, so we're not attaching anything that way, but that's just because there aren't any good tools to play, so that's fine. And then 2 Sableye lets you look at the top card of your deck, and you either put it back on top of the deck, or discard it. So you get one of these in play. If your top deck is an energy, you can discard it, or you could discard stuff like Mawile after the first couple of turns of setup, so you really don't have to worry. So that's the main bit. We've got 15 energy in here. We were playing multi-energy originally, but then I bricked on having 4 multi-energy in hand and never again. So we've got 5 water energy for the Swampert to attack. It's only 1 water that it needs to do so. We have 6 basic metal energy here so that we can attack with the Bronzong and whatnot. And we have the 4 special metal energy, which can just be used for mostly anything, but it's really good for the Bronzong. Obviously, that's the main bit seem to do. As far as supporter cards go, we're playing even more than the last deck here because we kind of just don't have the strongest draw engine here, and we don't have like a draw until sort of effect, and they're kind of really useful because we can search for them. So we've got 4 Bebe Search here. This is the new Professor Elm's training method that we are playing instead for this deck. You put a card from your hand on top of the deck again and then search for any Pokemon. We play this because we're playing EXs, that's why we can't play Cilio's Network in here. We really need to be able to search for the Swampert, so that's what we have. 3 Copycat, 2 Steven, and 4 TV Reporter for our draw engine. 1 Mr. Stone's Project searches your deck or your discard pile for 2 basic energy cards and puts them into hand. This is because we can't play Roseanne's Research yet, so we have to play Holon Mentor instead, which is our last one at 3 copies. But Mr. Stone's Project is really solid. You either recover energy when you don't want to spend your turn using Swampert EX and you just need some energy back in order to attach for attacking, or you search the deck in the first place for them so that then Bronzong can discard them and get your stuff online. Very strong card. Otherwise, free Red Candy. We're playing a 3/2/3 Swampert here. We don't need the 4th one. We can search for it with more WoW. It's pretty fine. 2 times Space Distortion, because we might have to discard our stuff fairly early here. Swampert's attack, I hadn't actually mentioned. You do 60 damage for free energy, but if you discard 2 cards from your hand, you can do 80 and snipe 20. So you may have to discard some Pokemon you would otherwise want to keep, which is where the 2 TSD come in. We don't need night maintenance because we want to keep our energy in the discard for the most part, and we don't care that way. And of course 4 Windstorm, because this is a Cessation Crystal format. We have to play 4 Windstorm if we're going to use Poké Powers, and we do rely on that power quite a lot, so unfortunately, pretty necessary. The last deck that we have down here is a Nidoqueen deck. Nidoqueen, I won't go over this one quite as much because I'm probably not playing this as the main thing. Nidoqueen is mostly here for Give Aid. You do 90 for free, which is quite an immense amount of damage to be honest, but if you don't overbench the opponent, you only do 50. That's fine, because Dust Noir lets you force the opponent down to 1 fewer bench slot if they have 4 or more bench Pokemon. so you can make sure that they never have a full bench, which means if you have a full bench, you can do a ton of damage to them, and that's really what we're going for here. We also have one Delta Nidoqueen because Invitation is crazy, lets you search for any one Pokemon card once per turn, so that's really good. And then our one little support thing, because we can search it out here, is the Milotic Delta, that lets you look at the opponent's hand and use the effect of a supporter card that you find out. So you do still have to meet the conditions for it, so like you couldn't use Steven if you had 8 cards in hand, or you would have to discard for some of the other stuff, but you know, that's fine. Otherwise, it's a relatively standard thing. We've got a lot of energy because we do need quite a lot in here. Double Rainbow is quite good for this deck because it lets you do 80 for 2. And then Team Galactic's Wager is nice with the Milotic because even if you fail the Wager, they're shuffle drawing 6. They're probably going to draw a supporter, so you're able to copy the effect of that. And Phoebe Stadium is the other different card in here. Lets you play 2 less to retreat your Psychic Pokemon, which is really cool. So yeah. Otherwise, this deck abuses more wild than most because searching your deck for any trainer card in this thing is absolutely cracked. And yeah, that's about that. Hello there, Gnome. How are you doing? All right. Let's go back in and see how things are going here. As soon as I can pull Discord up enough so I can undeafen. There we go.
Kind of a tough spot I put you in now, so.
Alright, how's it going?
Awful, I can't get anywhere.
Sounds about right.
Supporters.
Sounds about right, unfortunately.
No, I need to have a look. Something's not right here. I'm just not hitting anything. Well, that explains it. 4 supporters.
I thought it was me that was supposed to prize like all of my supporter cards.
Yeah, I think it was a good start for this deck as well. I got the full setup, which is not common.
And it's not allowed to draw.
Yeah, it really.
Did you guys want to switch?
Yeah, we was.
Cal, we'll get to play. We'll play sometime today.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
That isn't.
That was our second game, so.
There wasn't an unreasonable amount of supporters in.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and shift over then. Unfortunately though, if you're going to use the Electivire thing, I can't use the deck I actually want here for the same reason that I couldn't before, right? Because you just roll it with weakness and there's nothing to it, so I'm gonna have to switch if you're playing that.
Yeah, feel free, feel free.
It sucks because obviously this is the deck I want to show today, but I can't do it if you're just gonna play weakness against me. It's oh my god, I'm getting lag spiked out of everything here. Why is Mad Debt building in the main room here?
I don't know.
Did not think that was supposed to be the idea.
I think it was way back.
Yeah. That was.
It's been gens since then.
It's been generations since I've seen you. God, fucking Sonic. Alright, anyway, let's see how this goes then. Okay. Just gonna bring this up as well. Yeah, dropping a few frames here and there because of all this stuff being loaded in, but that's fine. Whatever. Let's go for Tails. Okay.
That isn't much of a turn one, so I wouldn't be too.
Yeah, I guess.
Attach Delta Rainbow Energy and pass.
Alrighty, let's see what we can do then. Not great if I'm being honest, but that's fine. We've got a special medal, and I'm gonna have to copycat here.
6.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, hand is kind of just full of like all the same card, which is not helpful.
I like how we all clearly called the card bad, now we're all using it.
Hey, I had the idea before you did. Shut up. I'm gonna drop down the Mudkip here, and yeah, go ahead. Yeah, my last hand was just full of fucking evolutions for Mudkip, and I had nothing I could play otherwise. So.
Mentor.
Yeah, that must be nice.
Yeah, you're probably not playing Cess. I'll discard a Windstorm.
Yeah.
Let's open up.
Yep, makes sense.
2 other kids in a buzz. Evolve one.
Yep.
Evolve the other.
Mm-hmm.
Draw with their powers.
Yep. So for those who don't know, when you have evolved from Elekid to Electabuzz, you can once per turn draw the bottom card of your deck. So very strange, but it works.
Delta draw for 2.
Okay. We will draw. Oh, that's interesting. I had a different play in mind for this turn, but I think that's gonna have to change it. I'm going to Bebe Search. Put that back in. Let's eventually see what's in the deck here, please. I know I don't have the best layout for my mouse and stuff here anyway, but it doesn't help when I just like, you know, everything just doesn't respond because the stuff is going on. It's all good. It's sorry, what's that?
Lag is not fun.
No, it really isn't. You know what is fun though? Swampert EX. So we're gonna get that because that sounds pretty fun to me. It's also like the only way I can possibly win this match, so you know. Resistance is a bit of a bitch when you don't do that much damage in the first place. You know.
Yeah.
Alright. So get that shuffled up. I do, of course, have the rare candy. That's why we're getting that. So we'll do that. And as much as I would love to... Actually, no, this is fine. We can do this. I'm going to pay the 1 to retreat. I don't care putting a special on this thing. I'm not attacking with anything else anyway. I'm going to use the energy recycle power to put the medal on the Swampert here and end the turn.
Okay.
Honestly, doesn't bother me. It's like, okay, the idea is normally that you're supposed to put those on the Bronzong, but like, Bronzong is terrible in this matchup, right? Because it doesn't do shit. Because Electivire resists metal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like, I don't think it's even good, so let's just get aggro here.
Mentor, discarding Stevens, because
Yep.
he's not getting played.
Nah, baby, you could totally pare that hand down to 6. What are you talking about?
Honestly, if I had the right draw, I probably could.
Yeah, I'm only half joking here. It's kind of funny thinking with the Swampert thing because it's basically the same thing I did with Electrode a couple of times, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm only getting a couple of energy, but those energy are so impactful that it's gonna, make a lot of difference. I just need to say thank the gods I am not playing multi-energy anymore with this, because oh god, this play does not work with multi-energy. Yeah, that's fine. Too elegant as well. Okay.
Bench, bench, bench. Only evolving one.
Okay.
Get my buzz draw.
Yeah. So third power, that's fine.
Attach lightning to buzz.
Oh, Matt's gone a complete opposite direction, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's a Chimchar.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, then.
He's probably still playing Cess, the bastard.
No, I see. If he's playing Seth with Delcat,
He's a man. He'll do it. To be fair,
draw 5.
yeah. To be fair, did I not play frickin' Battle Frontier? Yeah, because I didn't have Mount Moon. I played Battle Frontier with Blastoise Delcatty, so it wouldn't be out of character. All right, how many cards are in that goddamn hand of yours? Because I need to know now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Please don't copycat.
I am gonna copycat the living fuck out of that. I will happily take my 13 cards, good sir. There are 6 of them, and there are 7 more. Alrighty, and we're gonna put a Bronzong down because I think it's still okay here. We're gonna use it to draw 1. Probably just discard Windstorm, to be honest. I mean, again, it's not really for this matchup, is it? So, put down the Mudkip. Put down a Sableye. I will use the Sableye. Look at the top card of my deck, and it can stay there as far as I'm concerned. Don't really care about discarding that one. And with that, let's see. Probably the best thing to do with this one. Remind, Electivire's got 100 HP, right? I know the level X is 120. I'm pretty sure Vire itself is 100. So, I have a fucking huge hand as well. The obvious thing is I should discard. It's just, yeah. So we will be using our Ultra Pump here. I'm going to discard a Windstorm and a Mobile. So
yeah,
we'll...
it's 100 HP.
Okay, yeah, we're going to do 80, and I guess it doesn't matter too much, but we're going to put the 20 on the one that's got Lightning, just because it's a bit more awkward at that point. And, yeah, we will take our prize, and...
Forecast form.
I know. Yeah, I think the only way I win this matchup is if I go, like, super aggro like this, so... Yep. Although, like, Bronzong, I mean, it's only minus 20, so, like, I guess if I had enough medals on it, but then you'd just discard all the energy and it's fine, but... But wait, Electivire... No, because Vire's part... Wait, no, I'm overthinking it. Just keep going. I'm thinking through, like, everything of it at the time and going, wait, no, but maybe that works, but hang on, I don't know. Just remembering how fat Electivire is. Yep. God, Dual Ball and Mentors. I know you've got a lot of basics in, but... You know the worst part is, like...
To getting the draw turbo set up.
Yeah. You know, the worst bit is I don't even know if that matters that you failed that dual ball. You know? It's like, okay, you get one more buzz if assuming that's in deck because you've searched, you know. But it's like, does that even matter right now?
I mean, I could just have been using that just to get out the hand. Like,
yeah, exactly. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't even think it matters that you failed that.
3 draws. My
Okay,
3 buzzes.
just gonna get them all now. Okay.
Wow.
I think that's one thing we've technically been doing wrong, to be honest. Of not that we shouldn't be
Yeah.
drawing the whole thing. It's just like drawing them
Yeah,
all simultaneously.
Yeah, I guess it's technically worse, but I don't really care about it when Stevens is involved.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Stevens isn't involved, and Stevens is not involved.
I get that. I mean, I don't know your list either, so I don't know. I know what I'd be playing in this that potentially would make me want to only draw one at a time, but no, I'm just thinking from an information standpoint as well. I'm looking at it going, well, what if you didn't have it before? What if you drew Celio and with the first one, and it's like, oh, now I can fin the deck of the Pokemon that I was maybe looking for, and then I've got 2 potentially better draws. It's very small though. Like it's not gonna kill the game for not, looking at each one individually, but just these sorts of things that I go, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't do it that way,
Celio.
Speak of the devil.
What the fuck? The worst part is when you draw 20 cards and don't see either of the ones you want.
Yeah. I've been there, my dude. One test game I was having with Blissey where it was fucking last card in my deck was the Scramble Energy that I needed, and I was drawing like 6 of my 8 cards and still didn't find it. It was ridiculous.
Search the buyer.
Yep. Yeah, it is, because it is a power, not a body. It's like, yeah, okay, right. Yeah, I'm starting to see some use in the Bronzong in this matchup now, is what I'm saying. I was looking at it before going, yeah, Bronzong is going to be fucking worthless in this thing because it's just resistance on it. But then I was like, actually, no, because, yeah, Vire is a dude that needs to not be affected by a special condition. So I shouldn't rule it out.
Evolve bench.
Mm-hmm.
Cyclone Energy.
It's kind of awkward, but it's fine.
I'll intense voltage the lightning over to the buyer.
It doesn't have to be active for it, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Buzzgone is what Pepper's made for today, Pika. Which is pretty cool.
And I'll pass on that.
Alright. Let's see what we can do. So let's do it this way. We'll start with TV Reporter. Switch all 3. Discard. I suppose we'll discard an energy here. I might, looking at the way this matchup's going at the moment, I might well have a turn to use Energy Recycle again at some point. We will use the Sableye. Yeah, that can stay. Let's just attach a special medal to Pay Retreat and pitch Windstorm Mentor and put 20 on the Fire as well. He's a big boy, this guy.
Need to... Buzz draw. Celios.
Yep.
Round this fuck up. Get the Flygon.
Respect. Yep.
Candy. I also have the level X.
Yep. Which is good because you kind of have to have that in this point, otherwise you just die. That's not going to work enough, but I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. The attempt was made. Pick this up for cast form.
Okay, yep. Which can then just, yeah, get accelerated right back.
Yeah. My respectable plus power. Not more than I respect random special condition. Hand it over. And I will pulse barrier for 40. Oh,
I'm not a metal type, so unfortunately this is not how it works. Would have been nice.
Yeah, I just I overthought it and was maybe underthink.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll TV recorder. Pitch Mentor here. We'll go Marsh Top. Bench Immobile. Bench Bronzor. Just trying to think what the final punish would be here. You're gonna have to discard so many energy next turn in order to do this thing. Because even if you accelerate, as you will, if you accelerate one, attach one, you're still only going to have one energy in play. So, just trying to think, like, one more turn ahead here and go, what's the next catch? The problem of having to attach, of course, is the damage counters, but it's not even that bad. And I suppose the other thing is...
2 damage counters, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, can I afford then to... I could probably afford to take a turn off with this as well. Not this turn, but like, I'm thinking again, like 3-4 sort of steps in here going, I'm most likely going to need to use a recycle at some point. It's just a case of when can I afford to do that? What do we do in the meantime? Yeah, because it's just it's a little on the weird side. Just because resistance is a pain to like everything else that I have here, you know? Because I know what I want to do, but it's not a good idea, so... just okay. So then, other damage wise, you've 120 is the highest you can do. Let's just put a metal on the Sableye here, and right. What are we pitching? Because it's still worth doing so at the moment. Let's pitch 7. Let's pitch Mudkip and Steven, and I will put 20 on the Electabuzz. Okay, go for it. Yeah, there was pretty much no way that I was going to be able to avoid this sort of scenario coming up, so I think we're fine.
Delios?
Mm-hmm.
Maya?
Yep.
Evolve? Delta Rainbow?
Okay.
Delta Supply to the Flygon?
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
think-
it doesn't matter which way around you go. Yeah, the Delta Rainbow maybe complicates it. Nah, not really. I think I'm pretty well set in what my idea is here anyway.
And Gear Impact for 120.
Yep. So that's the 2 prizes. Alright, let's draw. We will start with Steven for 4. Let's go ahead and Sableye here. I want it and I don't want it at the same time. That's a strange one. Let's have a look. Oh, I can pitch it. It's a water. I can pitch that. We'll use the Bronzong. So we'll draw one. That's very interesting. Oh, that kind of makes what I brought up a little bit of annoyance, but that's fine. Yeah, we'll pitch Mentor. Time Space. Okay, I was going to be a little bit upset there, I'll be honest, but that's fine. That's fine. I only need the one Mudkip back anyway. That's fine. We will Rare Candy it. This is what makes it annoying now, because if I put the Sableye up instead, I could have actually knocked this thing out with the Marsh Tomb here, but I didn't, so... Didn't know I was going to get Rare Candy off of that, you know, you can't exactly expect that, so it's fine. I will Because I think I kind of need to here. I will have to attach somewhere. So yeah, let's actually just make it there. I think I can still win this. Because you go down to 3 from that, there'll be 2 from that, and then I can probably just take it with that. And then I'll use the energy recycle. Might be overestimating things a little bit here, but there's not much else I can really do with it since I didn't. Maybe I should have just promoted Disable. I want to keep the energy in play though, because Disable could still be really annoying here. So I don't know. It didn't feel right to not. It's awkward. Go ahead. Yeah, I think I might have messed it up, but it's all good. Again, couldn't just like straight promote the Marshtomp either because it's exactly 70 HP on this stupid thing, so Pulse Barrier is enough to get it down as well, so it's like, I don't know. And that's why I couldn't just do it, because, yeah.
Buzz.
Okay.
Evolve. Bottom. So with cast form.
That's pretty good, yep.
Let's apply a lightning onto the Flygon.
Mm-hmm.
Pulse Barrier for 50.
Bitch, you think I won't just KO my own Mawile here? I will fucking KO my own Mawile here. I don't give a shit.
I thought you would. I'm taking that prize, damn it.
I don't give a fuck. Alright, we'll use the Bronzong here. Draw one. Discard one to draw more. Let's go TV Reporter. Pitch Marshtomp. Pretty sure there's no chance I'm going to be able to actually do that anymore, so we're fine. Um. That's let's see. Where does it need to go if I do that? Pretty fine, I think. Oh, that is not what I fucking hit. I hit the marker for that.
Right on time.
Yep. I hit the marker on that so I could put it to 4, attach that. And we will discard Bronzor and a Bronzong to put 20 on the Flygon. And you with Ultra Pump.
Okay. TSD.
Yep. Oh god. Well, that.
Second TSD.
Yep. Uh-huh. Okay. That's
not good at all.
not amazing, no.
Yeah, that's no good.
No, I think that might be it. Um, yeah, because you have to get Fire, otherwise I probably just snipe down the other thing. You do still have 1 level X unaccounted for, so I guess it's not impossible yet, but that's really bad.
Night maintenance.
That helps a bit though. Having to go through all 3 of those in 1 turn though hurts a lot for sure.
Yeah, like this was not meant to get that level X.
No, it was meant to put energy back in the deck. I'm pretty sure. Because that's a big choke point right now. No, that's not a supporter, that does not stay on the field.
Menta.
Oh yeah, okay.
Guarding. Windstorm.
Yep.
Drop. Evolve.
Yep.
Yeah, I needed to run more of those. Play the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Trans.
Yep.
Trans. Delta supply.
Mm-hmm.
Trans.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Transit's 5s.
Sure.
On the off chance you wager me.
I was wanting to do that so long ago, don't worry.
Yeah, I figured if you have wager, you would have wagered me years ago.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's good to get out the hand.
Oh yeah.
There's literally 0 targets left.
Yep.
I'm putting 120 on you.
Okay. Seems good. Seems good. We will draw. Alright, well, if it's prized, then sucks to be me. I think it is, actually. There's the one problem with something here. I'm pretty sure my my out is
I just
in
read I
prizes.
misplayed hard. Oh well. I'll tell you afterwards if it becomes relevant.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I can do that. No, I didn't misplay. I just
Let's...
the line.
This is where it gets super annoying because, yeah, I'm pretty sure the way that I win this is still in the prizes, which is not great. I might be mistaken though, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Let's baby search, because this is going to basically say whether it is or it isn't. Yeah, fuck, it's in the prizes. There is still one out. I do have one way forward, but it is not pretty at the moment. Well, we need to thin the deck as much as possible to get to that out. I have 8 cards. I have a way of seeing enough of them that this is like 50% or more that I should win this. We're getting Sableye. Win is maybe a bit of a strong word, but we will see. Because I do need to still have that. Yeah, we might not be able to do it, but we'll see. I'm going to use the Sableye here. Discard that. It is babies. Bench the Sableye. Use that. Shift. No, I can... Yeah, no, I can I keep that on the deck? I mean, I guess it's functionally it's going to be the same as discarding it. So I should probably just discard it, but I'm keeping it there anyway because it's funnier. Because we're going to use the Bronzong, and I'm just going to discard it because it's special metal. So functionally it does exactly the same. That's not what we want to see. Alright, 1 in 5, because I have another Bronzong. We are going to use the Bronzong. And I didn't get it, so GG.
Yeah, the play I was figuring out was I realised I didn't need the Via level X to actually kill you, because I could kill you with the Buzz.
You couldn't have killed me with a Buzz, because I wouldn't have been in the active. But my third Swampert EX was prized. Ooh. And my Time Space Distortion, which is going to be the fucking bottom card of the deck, again, it was the bottom card of the deck. All I needed was to get that, and I would have won this. No question. Well, question asked because Free Tails. Fuck that. Yeah, no, I should have won that game. Even though it wasn't like the greatest matchup off of it, I should have won that game. Yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, this deck needs more recovery tools. Not because I'm going to run out of energy, but because I'm going to run out of attackers.
Yeah. No, bad pricing plus...
What's so scary was that I needed more attackers, basically, and
yeah.
I need to recycle them because of the name rule.
Yeah, bad pricing plus worse luck is the only... Again, it sucks because it's a recurring excuse, I know, but it's like, yeah, that's the only reason I actually lost... yeah, because I wouldn't have mattered, right? If I'd have... I guess I did make the one misplay of but I had to recycle anyway, so I guess I don't know if it was that bad of a misplay at the end. What I really should have promoted the Sableye instead of the Mawile, right? And I should have had the option open to manually retreat, because if I did that, I would have lost the Marshtomp, but I obviously couldn't use the Marshtomp in the end because my Swampert was prized. But I would have knocked out Via level X at that point. And then I could have taken the turn after that to go ahead and use Recycle to refuel the EX, and I think I probably would have been okay from there. So, yeah, one turn of misplay plus extremely bad luck is the thing for that, but it's fine. It's a cool deck, though.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised I didn't think it was too. I knew I was onto it as well because I realised I needed a way of accelerating to this Via, but I didn't quite make the stretch that I could use Flygon because of the Transpat.
Yeah.
I didn't thinking, okay, is there any way I can use the Transing to make it work? But I forgot that Flygon can accelerate to itself all the time. So I don't need other deltas in play.
Yeah,
and,
I think...
You know, I have Buzz anyway.
Yeah, I think the quote-unquote issue when it comes to it is, unlike the Dragonite version, you are constantly discarding all of the energy, so refueling can be pretty difficult. Like, with Cast Form there, it's fine, but cast form is Crystal Beachable, which is obviously not great. Yeah, you've got Windstorm, but
Yeah,
just draw the Outs Kappa.
Windstorms.
Yeah, like Pulse Barrier obviously can help a fair bit with that, so like it isn't guaranteed to be like a lost state for it, but yeah, it's not great.
Like the other problem is that because of name rule, you have to really invest in recycling your mons.
Yeah.
Because you only have 2/2 line as your main attacker. Like, I did not run enough TSD. That game told me that. I need like 3, 4, like maybe 2, 3 for maintenance TSD there. Because I would not have survived long games. I just run out of attackers.
Yeah.
It didn't matter in the end because you're in the X deck. But
Yeah, that's it. If I wasn't in the X deck, this would have been a much harder state. The only other deck I could have played into this really was the Nidoqueen, but Nidoqueen was like the third deck to play this week, and I really didn't want to be in that. Yeah, I know Resistance, so oh no, you don't one-shot me with Giga Impact. Oh no, but you know, you can still deal with it pretty fine otherwise. Yeah, okay, and then I guess the other mistake is I think I discarded one Mudkip at one point because I was like, I don't need a third one of that, and of course, I had to TSD that instead. Only getting the one heads there, blah, I know. Yeah, I was 1 for 6, so were you, so it's like, pretty unfortunate TSDs in that game, but yeah, like I said, not much else I really could have done. I had the one manual attach in hand as I couldn't discard it because I didn't have any more energy thingy for it. All I needed really was to find the TSD for Swampert EX because my other one was prized. We play 3 of it for that reason, to get enough of it into play. Just unlucky when it is one of the bottom half of your prizes.
Yep, that always sucks.
So, yeah, it's still a GG's on that one though. That was still cool. Just a shame that maybe some small thing, but then you've mentioned a fair few of your own little plays of that same sort of bit going, oh yeah, I should have done this differently sort of thing. Yeah, same with me, maybe, but I don't know.
I was questioning, because the thing I was questioning was that I didn't notice until after my turn that I did need the level X to KO, because my worry was where am I going to find my second wave KOing you, because I can't Giga Impact into another Giga Impact, with energy.
Yep.
I thought I need to find level X. I later realised, wait, Swift KOs.
I was 4 steps ahead of you on that one. I just didn't have the deck thing to do it because it wasn't in there. Yeah, because my thing always was going to be, I'm just going to pay 3 and retreat this guy. I have a water and a metal on my benched one, and again, as you said, you won't have the energy to do the big attack, so it's like, yeah, and I already had 40 on the Via that you would have had there, so it was a case of that's not going to save you at that point, getting to level X. I was putting the stuff on the Flygon so that I couldn't get swifted out of the game, right? That was the next sort of bit. I was going, oh yeah, if you
I do run the scrambles, that kind of thing, and the Delta Rainbows, but they're very unlikely to make anything happen.
Yeah.
Like, I was annoyed that I couldn't find my scrambles on the turn I was down 2 prizes. Cause that's what I mean. Those are all at the bottom of the deck. My Flygon's on the bottom of the deck. My Vias are at the bottom of the deck. Well, not at the very bottom, but the annoying middle bit when neither my Buzz nor my top decks find them.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Scrambles, Flygons, and Vias are all in there, so it took me longer than I would have wanted. I had to use all my Stelios just to get my first block going.
Yep. Whereas this set up like really quick. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty swift for this. Even though I started with a Bronzor, so I didn't even get a setup attack. That was really good. I was impressed.
In hindsight, these two should be at least another TSD and another night maintenance. And there was like last 2 slots. Like, what do I put here? I thought, more basic search.
Yeah.
Because I needed to get it going, basically. But no, my basic search is fine. I've got 4 Mentor. I've got 4.
So it looks like Sai is. I mean, they'll have already played a bit, but it looks like Sai is playing the Lucario Octillery thing into yeah, as you say, in for Caddy. Yeah, he's probably not playing Cessation here. He's just discarded like 2 Windstorm. He's probably not playing that. But it's still one of those sort of things of I could see it because once you've
one-off tech.
It's like once you've actually got started, Infernape doesn't generally need the Doubt Caddy abilities, so it's dead easy to just do that. He does not have a deck at the moment, by the way. I just saw that.
Oh.
He's gonna upstream all of these back in. That's what's going on with it here. But it's like, yeah, he didn't have a deck. That's very funny.
Yeah, like at my first game against I was using the Shiftry deck. Like my first game, I just kind of warp pointed him at the games. He only had 1 bench. And he was setting it up it's like warp point, Giga Impact 120 KO.
Yeah.
GG. Because all he had then was a Licky Tongue and well, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I guess this deck didn't have space to put Wall Point in it in the end because fucking Cess is too important not to play the Windstorm for
I
it.
mean, you say that, but warp point's also a set answer.
No, it's not. No, it's not because the decks in question, the decks in question I either lose to because it's Cricketune, or they only play 1 Pokemon down at a time anyway, and that's the thing. You can't Warp Point away Assess if they don't have a bench, which is what Blissey does. So it's not an answer, I'm afraid. It's not a good enough answer to take a Windstorm out for it.
Oh, looks like they've finished. Let's drop in the shout. Oh, yeah, they finished. Make sure it wasn't just this is a copycat. My hand was terrible type show. So yeah, let's drop in. Ooh.
And then there was this issue as well.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one getting price screwed today.
Oh, I thought in the first time it happened to you today.
No, but that was a surprisingly good game for what it was not meant to fight. Like I said, this is anti-Blissey as I can get.
Which is funny because again,
Decker got schooled.
I don't expect. I still say it as well. I do not think Blissey is a deck that needs to be anti that much.
Hey, it still functioned.
Yeah, I mean Lucario is good, and Octillery is a decent tech for the special energy matchups at least, and yeah.
Yeah, it stops the Blissey player going for their hold-ons.
Exactly.
Making some last-second edits to this then.
Honestly, that was a really, really good game, though.
I realized during that game that I had 0 recovery and like 3 attackers, so...
Yeah.
Maybe 4. I guess.
I wasn't sure if I was 3-1 or 3-2 and I hadn't got a chance to actually look in the deck for anything.
52 card deck.
He's just put 2 in, he's taken stuff out.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. First time I saw the list. So...
No. That's why I said making some last-minute changes on stuff because I just saw the addition of TSD and Night Maintenance getting cloned in here. So
fair enough.
No, this worked really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lucario is always a good card that struggled to find a partner. The Artillery is a partner.
It's a pretty decent one as well because it gets rid of the energy that removes the weakness to Lucario.
Surprised there's neither. Oh, I'm surprised there's no beach in here. That's one thing I'll say.
Beach could be run, but since it's against Blissey, it doesn't really run.
Well, again, I wouldn't be building this. I don't like counter decking.
Yeah, fair. But
Also, get these yellow, ugly ass copycats out here.
Matt's running the yellow stuff out of spite at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know why you're running the Budu as much. Like
I can see the reason to run the Budu.
Yeah, it's alright. It's like first turn only, really.
Yeah, the idea of it is pretty solid.
Candy.
There's reasons to use it, but I don't think I'd run it on a list which has this much first turn energy. I think because the reason to use this...
You don't understand how much fire energy he had prized.
I had almost none prize, is the crazy thing.
Wait, what?
I drew through 3/4 of my deck and saw 3 fire energy.
This this happened with me just now as well and the other stuff. So the only reason I lost, I'm saying this because I'm not playing this deck in the next one because it wasn't what I wanted to play, just weakness matchup. The only reason I ended up losing is because my third Swampert EX was prized, and my Time Space Distortion in an 8-card deck at the start of the turn, by the way, was the bottom card of said deck. I had 2 Sableye and 2 Bronzong to draw and discard through the deck to try and find it so I could get the one from the discard pile. Couldn't do it. 50% of the deck being able to be seen after... I think that was after a TV reporter too, so I saw like more than half of my remaining deck and just didn't see the one TSD that would have pretty much sealed the game up. Super annoying. And of course, you've seen it as well yourself when I played you in the Diamond Pearl one, where it's like, 4 Super Scoop Up in the deck, and I just didn't see any of them when I needed it to stop the Rayquaza.
So, what's this pile?
I'm assuming stuff you're considering otherwise, right? For actual real life stuff, right?
Yeah, if I got the chance to, I was gonna chat with whoever, and these are cards I ordered today that I've been looking at for a little while.
I have a bunch of these.
Yeah. It was like, these are 5-10 cents each, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
no, these are
I
cheap.
can just
They're good.
purchase the entire deck.
I see. This thing's a bastard.
So, yeah. I
You going to be running the Glimwood Tangle version of that with the memory?
Memory. What is the memory?
So that Apom has an attack that flips and makes it invincible.
Huh.
So you run it with Glimwood Tangle and this, and then you have like 82% chance to survive every turn.
Huh, that's really dumb. But I'm gonna use the aggro version. It's gonna attack energy and
miserable. You run it with the mill tank.
It's weird. You don't have like a win con then.
Your win con is decking the opponent.
Yeah, not a 1-card draw per turn. That is very fun.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Funny, but
So I
not
ordered-
good, right?
Yeah.
No,
If you're trying to bet your opponent out on a 1 and 8, they have more than 8 cards in their deck. That's not how it
miserable.
works.
Anyway.
But I did get Glimwood this week. But so I ordered these essentially 7 decks, right? Not the entire decks because I already had some stuff, but you want to hazard a guess of what it cost me in the end? I already had basically all of this deck.
Honestly, these are not the most expensive cards. I'd say these Trainer Gallery ones are probably the most expensive parts of it.
And I got the regular arts of these, not
Yeah.
the Trainer Gallery.
I'd say that if you're getting the regular arts of these, I'd probably say in the range of 20 to 30 bucks.
I'd maybe even peg that down another 10 or so. Personally, most of this stuff probably isn't going to be remotely expensive at all.
Yeah, factoring shipping and stuff.
Well,
I should
sure,
say I had
but-
basically all of this as well. It's like 1 card off.
Yeah,
Yes, well you're quite right. It was I think 22 with tax
Okay.
to complete
far
7
off.
decks. This game's so good. I love how affordable it is.
Yeah, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's a nightmare.
Right,
it.
so now with all of that out of the way then,
Oh yeah, let's do you want to play Cal?
yeah, let's go for it. I didn't get to play you in RSPK, so... And I don't think... I know I have played against this deck once, because I played it with Sai, but...
Yeah, I'm up for having a break as well after that one, Pepper, if you want.
Alright.
Yeah, sure. The only thing I even have that is the thing is I had a short attempt at the Gator Catty thing and it just wasn't working.
Okay, I
The
do
problem
have...
was that
playing Icon.
let's move
Yeah,
over,
yeah,
shall we? Sorry, they're just gonna keep talking over us otherwise. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I do have a basic, so I will be... Do that, and ding in.
Another one.
Alright, I guess I'll take another one.
Another one.
So let me get this straight. You roll up last week with like a 4/4 Chansey Blissey thing and like don't
Another
mulligan at all, and then what is happening here?
Budu's like, why'd you take me out of the deck?
Yeah, really.
You only have 8 basics now. That's not enough.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter too much, does it? What would you like, heads or tails?
I'll take heads.
Alright, behold!
Nah,
The asshole!
3 energy attack. Neat. Damage but not effects.
No, because I'm not playing Mime Jr. I'll just say that now. We tested it with Mime Jr. at first, and Mime Jr. wasn't very good, so...
I draw, correct?
Yes, you draw to go first now. You just can't play any kind of trainer card on the first turn.
Yeah. Oh, apparently we're gonna need a good bit of energy, so we'll attach and scratch.
For nothing, because you don't
Oh, yeah,
have
thank you.
3 or more energy on you. That is the entire point.
Yep.
We'll draw. Okay, we'll bench another Carp, and we will Mentor. Since I don't need them for this matchup, as much as I had to play them anyway, we will discard Windstorm. Gyarados as a card, like, flat out dies to Cessation Crystal, so... Well, it's the combination of Cess plus Crystal Beach, because then you can't even use Enrage unless you're actually, like, playing a ton of things anyway. So, yeah, I kind of need it. We're grabbing Rocks. I'm gonna grab a Cast Form as well, actually, whilst we're here, because I've already got 2 Magikarp. That seems pretty reasonable. And... just taking a quick look at what else is actually here before I get the last one.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen, yeah, Wall Point's a thing in here. We might as well do that because getting an Infernape kill on my only routes would be really sad. So we're gonna just do that. Trying to think, what is even best to attach to here? I don't even know. Let's just put a Psychic on the Mime. Might as well here, and that will do it for now. Go ahead. Yep.
Dumpcatty. Stephen. 5.
Yep. Yeah, there's not a lot I'm gonna do about that here. I do want a decent amount of stuff on bench, so... I think the bit that's frustrating is, like, Steven is absolutely god-awful against some decks in this format, some of which may or may not have been played and would have been expected, right? Like, if this was last week, you know. Because I've been testing that one fairly well in these last couple of days, actually, and I have opinions that we'll get into after this game.
Solid attach.
Do know that his energy card's not energy, so you still can't damage me here.
Oh, is there? That's funny. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the few cards that says energy cards on it here, so yeah, you still can't hit me with that, just in case that changes what you want to attach here.
May. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll energy draw it instead.
Okay.
Attach that.
It's a shame you couldn't get a fire discarded for the thing instead, huh?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay. Then pass.
Okay, let's wrap this game up then. We have Gyarados, and that's going to make things barely scary with the stuff here. I'll let you take that in whilst I get it active, because we're paying retreat. And Jolteon Star. 1 damage counter on both of us, which is exactly what I need here for this thing. Scramble, because I only need a Colress to actually do the attack, that's not a problem. What else do we want to do before I actually wrap this turn up? Probably Celio is the option here. And we will Celio grab ourselves when it eventually loads up. There we go. We will grab ourselves when I can. Where is it? Up the top of the deck. We'll grab Courier. I have to use the like sandstone printing of this one because I refuse to use the yellow print from Dragon Frontiers because those card scans are fucking awful. You know? And yeah, so we'll use the Dragon DNA body to copy Flail and do 30 bonus damage on top of that here. So with your 20 weakness, that's going to do 40 plus 20 is 60. So, God, I am lagging something fierce. If my drop a Celio into the discard is causing it to move over here instead, that's crazy. Okay.
Let's see. So, 40, 70 next turn, something like that.
Well, I've got to take more damage and stuff as well. Even if I want to do more myself, I've got to take more, right?
Yeah.
Not impossible, but tempering expectations here. I'm not going to be able to do 70 again that easily. Yep.
Already draw. Okay. Yeah. Celio.
Yep.
Draw.
I would say it's a bit unfortunate seeing the seeing this sort of thing come out here because you know weakness matchup etc. But I was always playing this deck. This was the first thing I came up with for this. So besides, I was expecting the Blissey other Cessation Crystal decks to wreck me anyway. So you know.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty rough.
It's just amusing actually, because that was one of the only ways I actually lost any matchups in the middle of in like midweek testings and stuff with this, is when I got like triple cessed. Basically, it was like, oh well, I can deal with two, but I can't deal with a third one coming out in turn after turn after turn, you know.
I'll pass.
Okay, will draw. Oh, that helps a fair bit. I was gonna play a different one, but I guess top deck Celio is gonna do the job here. That wasn't the supporter I was aiming to play this turn, but that'll do it. Alright, you did not put an energy on the Infernape either. Okay. Right, we're taking Gardevoir. So we're going to evolve there, use Psy Shadow to take a Psychic from my deck to the Gyarados and put the damage counters on it. AKA the entire synergy of this deck. We will... Yeah, it's really sick the way this ends up working out. We're gonna bounce, bounce the Psychic back for the cast form, because I'm probably gonna want to manually attach Psychic somewhere next turn. And yeah, now we'll Enrage and it will do 60 this time. Oh, not Enrage, Flail. You know what I mean. We're attacking with the base thing. Ooh, there he is. Big Bad himself.
Let's do...
Oh, because it's specifically fire too. You can't even use the double rainbow as a part here. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So this thing, look at the top three of your deck, choose one, discard the other two. Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
Oh, just Burning Head.
Yeah. So we didn't get a chance, because Leo either didn't play me, or I think he just didn't play me in the end of the week, because I know he had this, right, when we played the Diamond Pearl one. So this is the first time I'm actually getting to see this, because the midweek stuff with Sai didn't have the level X, so because we didn't take the tins the set early, yeah, it was just straight Infernape at that point that I got to play against, so it's the first time the level X has been used on me. Annoyingly, it's not ×2 the water, so it still lives right now.
Right. That's interesting. Seems like most of the level X's got the ×2.
Yeah, I think they maybe with the first ones of them, and because they were stage 2 ones, maybe, I don't know, they wanted to promote it a bit better. I don't know. I ain't gonna judge.
Oh, I think I'll mill Sweet Caddy.
Okay.
This.
Must be a pretty reasonable card to keep over that. But then again, I suppose if you're discarding a Skitty Catty, yeah, I don't know. I know you play the EX though, so because it'd be probably silly not to win this deck. I'm actually not sure whether it would be or not, but feels like it would be.
Okay, 50. Well, I guess you can just also use it.
Yeah, which is 10 short, and I've had to use my Jolteon, which is sad, but it was worth it. Yeah, it's alright, Pico, I understand. The only reason I couldn't play this before is because Pepper was playing the Electivire Flygon thing, which is just not possible with this deck, right? A lightning attacker that way is just not going to be fun.
Man, this is not a place to be. Well. I'm just gonna wager, I guess.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, not so subtle thing. Wager was actually what I was going to do last turn before I top decked the Celio, so, you know. Alright, yeah, I'm doing the same thing with these. I just shuffle it up and see. Okay, right, so I get 6 and you get 3, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Lake Boundary does exist, but I'm not playing it because I wouldn't have space in this deck.
Energy draw for 3.
Oh yeah, you didn't do that first, no, okay.
Place.
No, because you just leveled up and used the power, right. Put these to the side so I can clear my space.
That's rough. I guess I will pass.
Wow.
Oh. Yes. Now I'll attach the double rainbow and then pass.
Not wanting to use the thing. Okay, I mean, I guess it makes sense because I just then, like, yeah, I've kept myself deliberately out of range of Flare Blitz KOing, so plus power would have been a thing, but honestly, if you plus powered me for my life there, I would have had to just accept it. Alright,
I had it in the first hand too, but I...
Oh, you didn't think you were going to draw the DRE, right? Yeah. Understandable. We have another Gyarados on the bench. I will Psy Shadow to not. That's a prison shot marker. Why is that one there? Doesn't matter. It's fine. I guess it's because it's whatever. I'm gonna use Psy Shadow on this one because functionally Enrage doesn't do like anything different enough here to warrant getting myself killed to. Me. I mean, maybe it does because you don't have that many cards in hand, but I might be able to draw out of that anyway. So, order of operations here probably states I should play Quick Ball first, just to thin the deck down a bit. Of course, drawing what I'd wanted there, but that's fine. Taurus. It's funny because I mean, I'll talk about it after, but the mime was actually what was more prevalent than Taurus in the initial list of this, but not anymore. We're going to TV Reporter, draw the 3, discard Windstorm. You know what? I'm probably fine with it. I'm gonna attach because I can actually use Enrage here, and I think that's probably good in this hand. So they'll do total of 110 because it doesn't get affected by the thing there. And now flip until Tails. Of course. First one being Tails, this does get confused. Not great, but whatever. Yep. Yeah, because if I could have ripped that out of your hand instead, you know.
Draw. Huh. Attach. Plus power.
Yep.
Yeah, we just knock you out with the.
Yeah, because it does
with your attack
90,
attack.
so that's fine. Yeah, so you've got currently.
Oh, I didn't Burning Head. You might have Burning Head.
Go on, go on.
It's another wacky hand. I mean, I hope you attach, so then I'll fire. Yeah. Candy.
Okay,
Okay,
so
yes.
that puts you at 8. Dalcali discard would be 9. So, I'm just thinking how easy or otherwise it is that you'd be able to take out Gyarados here. Because it's at 100, which is not the easiest thing to take out with an EX. Yeah, because the obvious other play is to bring up the Gardevoir, right, and just Side Shadow here. That does put it in range, which is annoying, but like, do I care at that point? You're unloading everything in one go. Probably not. I think we're okay with that. That might help. So then, what do I need to do with... Don't think it's going to be too likely that I get to 6 damage counters on this thing for... Yeah, so... Alright, we will manually attach to the Guardi, because yeah, I did obviously spot 120 HP on this thing, so I will still be able to KO it, which is good.
Yeah.
That hand is freaking enormous. I am going to wager here. Okay, I don't think you even shuffled it, so it's like, alright. But I obviously did, so it wasn't anything with it that way. Oh, that makes things interesting. Alright, Carp. Oh, rare Candy Gardevoir here. Use the Psy Shadow on to the Magikarp, actually, if I have an energy for it. Which I do. Or do I put it on the card? No, actually. No, I'm gonna put it on the Gyarados. I think it's easy enough right here. And then, yeah, we will Energy Burst and do the 10 damage that's needed to get the knockout here. My Kingdom for a what's his face, Jolteon Star had already put down the turn before, right?
Yeah. Little energy draw.
Yep. So this puts us at 9 now.
And scoop.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know obviously Gyarados being water isn't going to help this matchup at all, but this wasn't what I was making the deck for. This is complete opposite to what I was expecting you to even do, obviously, because this is completely different to most of the types of decks you would play, right? This is as aggro as it gets, pretty much, and that is something we haven't seen since, what, fucking Rain Dance, maybe, out of you, so this is not what I was expected to see at all, and against Blissey this is not amazing, only because Cess actually kills like everything. Because it kills bodies as well as powers, Gyarados physically cannot attack if it has any Cess resistance, right? That's why you've seen how many Windstorm I was playing. I actually have the full 4 because I can't deal with it any other way. And yeah, it's like, if you put Cessation Crystal down against this, it pretty much dies unless I can get rid of it. If you also put Crystal Beach down, because the only ways I can use Enrage is by Cast Form or Scramble Energy, and obviously neither of those are going to work for dealing with the thing. But otherwise, this deck beats not quite everything, but it has game against like everything. because Gyarados is just crazy, right? You know yourself with Blissey that it tends to survive at least one good attack, and try doing that, but then also doing 90, 100 plus damage on the crapback, right? It's it's actually kind of ridiculous how much this can do, but it does have some hard counters, and that is unfortunate, we shall say.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I like
go on.
I think me and Pepper and you are in agreement that Cess is going after this round. So.
Really?
Oh, it's a bit awkward how no one bought it this week, but we were talking about it for sure. Like, it might be
everyone brought it last week, though.
Yeah. I just don't like the card, I'll be honest.
I have established in my own testing the only reason the Cess bringing, for the most part, the only reason the Cess bringing decks are actually even good is because of Cess. It is the problem card, not any of the other ones for it. Blissey is a god-awful deck if it doesn't have Cessation Crystal in play. It is, I don't know how it topped as much as it did in the time period, probably something to do with being best of 1, 30-minute, etc. But it is unbelievably bad if you do not have every single disruption method on the field at the same time. The card is just completely unplayable. Kricketune could still do stuff, but is just really fragile. But it does tend to rely on the whole cessation energy removal thing to do anything as well. Lucario barely even uses it anyway, but if it does, that's not really that much of an issue for it. And honestly, it's the problem card out of everything for it. As much
even
as...
with Windstorm, it's not really.
So the problem with Windstorm as an out, apart from her just draw the outs, this is why floodgates don't get banned in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? No, but it's the obvious thing is, you've got removal for it in the format, just draw it, right? Your draw power is very limited in this round. If this was modern, I don't think I'd actually say that Cess is bad, because we have more stuff that can actually draw a lot of cards, right? It's not as big a deal to... Please. It's not as big a deal to draw the out if your main draw card is discard draw 7. Even Marnie is better than what we have for stuff at the moment with it, because it's effectively a draw 5 into the deck. We have, at absolute best, draw 3 cards, because the decks that play Cessation Crystal also don't play a bench down, so you can't use Steven to draw as well. Blissey will only play 2 cards down. Kricketune will play a bench, but you're probably still not actually surviving that one very long, so it's Windstorm alone is not going to cut it. But Cessation Crystal is also searchable, with a really good supporter engine that can just keep searching more of itself out as well. Cessation Crystal has Castaway, Windstorm doesn't have any such thing. Unfortunately, as much as annoying as it is to say the first thing I want to hit is a trainer card, every single thing that I've done so far with this has pointed to Cessation Crystal being a problem for the format, and it's not gonna get any better. So that would be my vote to hit. I hope I put the arguments over enough to at least justify my reasoning for it, but
My main devil's advocate argument is that we're going into Guardi format. Guardi doesn't run Cess as far as I know, so maybe
you know why it doesn't run Cess? Because
it already has its own power lock.
Because its attack that it uses all the time blocks Poke Powers. But you know what it doesn't block is Poke Bodies, which actually is a pretty significant difference. Cess blocks everything. Gyarados wouldn't want... I mean, Gyarados I would also advocate for hitting here, by the way. But Gyarados wouldn't be a problem... it wouldn't have a problem if Cess didn't stop it from having its body as well. That's, it invalidates so many things, and it's going to keep invalidating cool decks coming up as well. Honchkrow is another one that just doesn't function if it's getting body locked as well.
To get to my actual point, that if we're expecting Guy to just dominate everything, maybe something with Cess actually keeps up with Guardi. I doubt it, but It depends, but considering it's probably just going to be Blissey Burnett. Again, devil's advocate argument.
Yeah, Gardevoir also doesn't... I mean, obviously Telepass is a really good power. That's going to help its consistency a fair bit. I did mess around a bit with Delta Milotic this round, and it's sort of similar in that aspect, where you just get more stuff off of it. But Guardy doesn't rely on having powers, for the most part. You can build versions that do, like the Weavile, etc. But it doesn't need them in order to do its thing. Whereas so many of the other cool decks in this this format at the moment do need powers in order to do anything, and having an engine searchable just blanket way of saying no to that, which is just not healthy for the format. You're having to waste a ton of slots on a card which otherwise doesn't really do anything. Windstorm isn't great in a format that has one good tool and maybe one good stadium card, and yeah, it's just like you're having to dedicate dead slots into a deck to counter something just because it's the overpowering part of it.
What other stadiums do we get? Because we still need answers to Crystal Beach. What stadium we get?
I forget exactly what's in the next set stadium-wise, but
yeah, I'm just searching it up now on Pokemon cards.
there are other options that you could use for that sort of thing, though. Late Boundary is probably going to be more interesting than not when it comes to because of
that's an interesting card I've looked at. It hasn't really fit the deck side what I've been running because they just either don't care about weakness or care more about the opponent having weakness than they.
Sure.
And but there's certainly decks where I jam Lake Boundaries. Nothing in. Yeah, it's not. We don't get many new stadiums at all this format. Like it's Moonlight and Immigrate Encounters, and then Dawn Stadium and Majestic Dawn. They are top tier. Like, no, like saying it's fine. If you're running Static and Dark, it's a free roll.
I'm not even convinced that like Crystal Beach is actually a problem though, because what it functionally does is put the brakes on decks just going too rampant with Scramble, which, you know, our favorite one that we are loving to already hate before even playing it is a big proponent of playing, is a lot of Scramble and like potentially double Rainbow. I think it's more just Scramble, but yeah, the Gaudiolade relies a hell of a lot on having those kinds of energy around. I don't actually think Crystal Beach is a problem as much because...
Yeah, I wasn't going to advocate for hating Crystal Beach. I was just wondering, I was thinking about your Windstorm comment more. Like, okay, I don't need to cover Cess anymore. What do I use to cover Crystal Beach if I need to?
Yeah, I mean you play Taurus, but you can still run Windstorm. I'm not saying it's unusable. I'm just like, Windstorm is for functionally 1.5 cards because not even Crystal Beach is always needed to be hit with it, and that one card is more searchable than the out, and also just like, yeah, it completely dumpsters everything with it otherwise. Yeah, this won't be a recurring thing, I don't think, but no, this is one time, and there's more interesting stuff with it as well. You could play like a Tech Alakazam line if you want that sort of power blocking. It's not as if Cess is the only way you can do that. Obviously there's Gaudiolate coming up, but it's more than just one way that you can still do it. It's not going to be
still the Latios and Pidgeot in format from Delta era.
Yeah, Pidgeot is another one. If you put a whole on energy on that functionally does the same thing as Cess, but it doesn't have to be active. That takes up more effort though. I think this
and
is
it's powers only.
Yeah, but this is kind of where I was getting to before when it came to some of the ease of use of the likes of Manectric or something, is that the lower down to the ground it gets, the easier it gets to do this sort of blanket lock that just kills so many different decks, the worse it is to play against it. And if your opponent is putting down a stage 2 Pidgeot and putting a whole lot of energy on that thing just to try and stop your powers, so be it, right? That's a deck decision that your opponent has made that has taken a lot of space and a lot more effort to get out than just simply playing a goddamn Castaway and attaching a Cessation Crystal while still getting another Castaway and an energy to attach for the turn.
And even the Latios, it's 2 basics, but it's still 2 bench sitters. And it's locking yourself out of evolved bodies as well.
Yeah.
Plus you can lead those, and that's probably not good.
Are there any good arguments against? Like, I'm sure there are, but like, are there any arguments for keeping it in for until Majestic Dawn?
I think it would increase our deck variety to have it.
Matt, have you got? Let's get your opinion on this because I know you've been quite quiet for most of this time.
Yeah, so I would say I'm against. I don't see it as a problem card. I do see it as a power card, of course. It's kind of interesting, right? Because it hits things that are strictly reliant on abilities or powers bodies really hard. So on one hand, that is a potential reduction in like variety of decks that can be played, I guess, if it scares you off of playing something because I can't deal with Cess. I mean, there are some ways to deal with Cess, but in the example of 2 Blissey with 2 Cess, I guess. I mean, Windstorm is a thing, but I don't know. Your arguments of it being difficult to deal with are fair, I think. On the other hand, I do think it is itself an archetype, and if you ban it, you are banning that archetype. I don't think, as you said, Blissey is good without it. I think Brigatoon is not good without it. I think there's a lot of cards that are good with it, and not without it.
I'm looking up the next set just to think about the kind of cards that would be stopped by the net would use it, and apparently the Mothim's a deck that might use it. I'd have to check what that actually does.
Is that the Rage Scale one?
Yeah, Raging Scales.
So, I don't know. I mean, I will vote against until it seems like a problem to me, because so far it has not seemed like one, and I would be fine seeing it in more decks. But if you guys don't like it, that's the other side of this. Is it's not just for deck variability, but also just for what is fun.
Here's the thing. I think it would be back for Worlds.
Please don't cut him off, Sai. Finish up, please, Matt.
Yeah, I think that's my closing note, right? Is that if you guys don't like it for one reason or another, I'm not here to, try to sell you on it and stake my life on this thing. Like, if it's not fun for you guys, I don't want us to play with it. We can get rid of it and play with other stuff. But yes, yep, it can come back for Worlds. If you guys do want to ban it now, that's cool.
Yeah, so how much do you have you actually played outside of just the 2 weekends though? That is one thing I do want to ask real quick, because obviously we played quite a few different decks that have and have not run this thing. So it isn't just a snap thing of we just want rid of it because of that. We've played like over half a dozen things that play it as well as a lot that don't. So I'm just wondering in that case, like, is it not a problem to you because you've only played maybe 2 or 3 different decks or seen 2 or 3?
Possibly, yeah. You guys have played. I mean, I've played none outside of our weekly thing, so you guys have undoubtedly played more than me, and that could be certainly part of my position. My counter question would be, which decks have you played Cess in?
Okay, I've got a Machamp Lucario list that plays it that was pretty devastating to a lot of decks.
The Cricketune.
Yeah,
Cricketune's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is here.
Did mess around with the Blissey a bit.
There's an Empoleon Lucario. I can't remember if that was running it.
Yeah, we were running that. That was technically last. Yeah, like Empoleon last format as well. Technically ran it, but that was again last format.
That's the stuff that I've personally built that's
I
running
was
it.
looking at stuff with the Gengar, but realized it had 0 Cess outs. Like it just died to Cess because it couldn't kill active. So that's something that probably wouldn't have worked anyway, but it was something that Cess put me off of. Like the DP1 Gengar.
Most Nidoqueen decks are particularly vulnerable to it.
Okay, so you guys said maybe 4 decks so far that use Cess, if I understood that correctly. So I guess my thought is that those get banned over time. I play Blissey, we ban Blissey. I play Kricketune, we ban Kricketune. And I feel like eventually you run out of stuff that is good enough to warrant playing Cess.
This is the Konami banlist philosophy, where they know there's a problem card, Halky Firebacks, and they ban every single other card around it to keep it in the format. That is a very terrible way of doing things, and has been proven to just not work. Fireball
If people want to make it work, they will find it.
Like, again, next step, the Banette is very strong looking, at least in the Guardi format, because it OHKOs the Guardi. And that could very easily run Cess. Like, Banette Blissey was a thing, but it's probably at least one.
I mean, again,
to run with.
You're framing it as a problem card, which I just don't agree with, whether from lack of experience or some other. I mean, who knows what it is if it's not that. But if it is not a problem, then I honestly see it more as making those things good, like making them interesting and playable. Like Metacham, or I guess Metacham's the most obvious example, is an interesting card because it has that body. So Cess turns things into Metacham, which makes them more interesting. Yeah.
I'm going to admit that my opposition is pretty deeply rooted in I don't like the kind of decks it's enabling. I don't like it on a fun level. Because stuff like the Kricketune is just mindless. The Blissey's also pretty linear. Whereas the big setup decks are the ones being suppressed, the ones with the larger amounts of options.
Yeah, and I have no argument against that. If it's a fun thing, then sure. I guess the other point I would raise is does that allow degenerate ability decks to exist?
That's a fair argument. Yeah, what are we letting off?
Out...
If it wasn't getting banned at the same time, what answers what beats the Gyarados example?
Yeah.
We all know the answer to that is going to be Guardi. But let's say, after Guardi. Let's just say.
Does it though? Here's the thing with Gyarados in particular with this, and I'm advocating getting rid of Gyarados as well. By the way, I'm not just hating on Cess stuff here. Gyarados uses a body in order to do its thing. Gardevoir does not turn that off. Gardevoir doesn't one-shot the Gyarados, so you need to get a really quick and sustained Psychic Lock to even stand a chance of not just getting rolled over by Gyarados' increasing damage output. And Gallade is resisted, so it's not even a good answer to it either, even though it's got a bit more HP. Right? So
you kill one Gyarados probably with the Gallade, and
yeah. Over the course of 2 turns, unless you're putting your entire prize set face up in one shot, and then that's
Gyarados,
it. Yeah.
You probably would put your entire prize thing in one shot.
Yeah, but what's it gonna do otherwise? So yeah, I think Gyarados could be one that might get troublesome with it, because the Gardevoir Gyarados stuff down here is actually kind of insane if you don't lock off Gyarados' effect. So that, although it was mentioned, there was the Delta Latios thing was mentioned, so maybe there's still a thing, but that's so specific to that matchup. I'd be willing to just say no, Gyarados itself could be a problem. So that I'd be easily okay with seeing going as well. What else gets enabled is it's maybe tough to see if it's gonna be that ridiculous. The Honchkrow is maybe the next one that would have to get looked at, because Honchkrow from this set lets your Murkrow use the attacks of the Honchkrow if it can pay for them, which that's quite a few good things that the level X enables. So that might be one to watch next round.
if it's not an obvious problem, we can give it a week to see what happens. It does have to go against Guardian this week, so it certainly has the. How's that fight?
I think I want to take back and not say what did I say? Not problematic, but
Degenerate.
Degenerate. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't think any of the things that were mentioned are degenerate. Maybe there are some like more control things that are unfun, but I guess.
Wasn't there a Dusknoir Lux Ray deck I remember hearing about?
Is there
stuff like that
is there any
in this format?
concern that it reduces like deck building complexity if I don't need to worry about that and I can just slap down 6 guys with abilities and go ham? So I don't know, I feel like anything that requires you to have answers kind of makes for compelling deck building choices. But maybe the game doesn't need it necessarily. Like maybe it is fun enough to just slap down 6 guys with powers and draw 50 cards and hit for 200.
I think we have to talk about, okay, what is the adaptation to Cess? Like, the obvious adaptation is for Windstorm. But outside of just running more Windstorm, which isn't exactly interesting deck building, what is it encouraging?
I mean, Warpoint and Cyclone aren't good against Blissey, but I think there are going to be other decks like Cricketune that want Cess that works against.
That's pretty fair. Warpoint is the kind of card you'd probably run anyway, but it certainly pushes you to run more of it. Cyclone's a bit more niche.
Alright, here's another slight point. Although I should answer the question with it first, right? Is the answers versus not answers thing, I guess. My issue with Cess in that kind of argument is I don't think Cess is an answer to the ability decks per se, in the sense that it's like it's hard to tell, because it's just like you just can't play the answers if you get Cessed, right? You're saying, oh, you know, like the game is fun when you have checks and answers to the opponent's stuff, and you know, do the things that way. But Cess is a thing that stops the opponent from playing the answers in the first place, right? You can't please stop interrupting me in the middle of this. Okay? You can't use a lot of this. You can't use a lot of stuff to try and get it. None of the answers to Cessation Crystal are searchable under like any circumstance with Akira, other than an attack, which is too slow for one, because like you know, use a Morwell or something, but it's too slow and can just get wagered, which is going to become more of a problem as well. Next point I was going to make is what happens when you just go Cess Wager and the opponent loses it. They're down to 3 cards, they've got no abilities they can use, basically have to like immediately draw the one, like, you know, their Windstorm out of the deck or something in a really probably large deck that just, yeah, there's no counterplay to that. That's not a situation where you can even conceive of having the answers to it. And that does not make for fun games whatsoever when you don't even have a chance to try and draw out of it.
It's funny you mention attack. Like, I was just going to say attack is not the way of drawing into the death answers, but it's funny you mention attacks, because there is this and the set after, which is actually a searchable answer, which is generally good to have otherwise, because it's a core family free.
Wait, where are we at?
It's here next to the sets. It's a Pachirisu.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Sorry, I didn't know where you were, sorry. And this looks like the point for potentially degenerate body. Yeah, that's...
Is Chatot much later than Pachirisu?
It's a set after, because this is like, it goes Secret Wonders, which is the next set, Great Encounters, which is this set, and then Chatot, which is the set after in Majestic Dawn.
I didn't think it was that late, to be honest. I was kind of thinking it was this next set coming, but obviously not. Yeah, okay, so like Shuckle can be annoying, just like Mr. Mime, I guess, is the other one from this set. Maybe that's the other one to actually say, is the Mr. Mime from this set can be a right pain in the butt for a lot of decks to even go around, but even then, I don't know, because like, are there actually going to be that many decks that play only special energy? And are most of those not the ones that would be relying on, say, a scramble energy in order to deal with a thing like this? I think the Mr. Mime is probably more annoying than the Shuckle, if I'm being honest with you. I wouldn't...
Here. Let's go back to our building around a problem type list. How do we build around Shuckle? You can certainly build Cess into your decks, but you can also just run a decent amount of basic energy. Is that more or less interesting than the Windstorm aspect of playing around Cess?
Considering most abilities that interact with energy like meaningfully do so with only using basic energy in the first place, arguable. I don't know, like, I know I used Swampert EX today that can do things otherwise with it, but like, even then, most of my deck is basic energy. Yeah, most of that deck
in
is
your
basic.
Swampert deck, you just fetch 3 basics, you can still attack and deal with Shuckle.
This kind of effect is the sort of thing to potentially look out for at that point. No, that is definitely true.
It's all Mew-Lock type decks. Because back in 06, Mew-Lock was a big deal, and the main answer did turn out to be Cess.
Yeah.
That's certainly a kind of deck Matt is talking about by Degenerate, and that gives that argument a lot of weight, I feel. So we should at least be looking out for those kinds of decks. I remember something involving Luxray I posted a list for at some point. I'll have to search it up again.
I think on the other hand, like, if the ban system deals with degenerate decks anyway. You know what I mean? Like, if I bring Mime Shuckle, if somehow that's a good deck, then you ban Mime, and then it's played for 1 week and it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's probably not enough truly degenerate cards, I'm inclined to say.
This format seems pretty good at avoiding them.
Yeah, and it's certainly, even this is certainly, I think, less on that side than what Cess is itself. The Pachirisu is a pretty reasonable thing to go, yeah, that could work, and, like, you know, discard it, especially because that can be a limiter against the Castaway stuff, but only slightly, right? Because Castaway on itself is still just going to next turn get you another Cessation Crystal plus the cast, and you just play that down, right?
Okay, I found a lock to win for.
Alright, let's see it. Because I am willing to have my mind changed on this. It's not like a hard and fast, I must ban this at all costs. It's just from what I have played.
I posted a pic in the Discord.
Okay. Because, yeah, it's just from what I have played, and we have played quite a bit here, most of the decks that play Cess are only good because they play Cess, and they kind of shut out a lot of other decks without really even having to try, because they have a search for the thing, and that is something the other decks don't have, is good enough draw or search for the ways to actually beat the card. Because none of the ways that we have mentioned of beating Cess are actually searchable. You just have to hard draw them in a format where draw 3 is the highest that you can do on the supporter card. Which makes it puts the power far too much on the crystal side compared to what it actually should be, in my personal opinion. But yeah, to me that just ends up making it a lot less fun to even play in the first place, because it's like, yeah, I've got this really, really neat idea that that is completely functional and viable. It's not just a, like, this would only be good if Cess wasn't in the format sort of thing. It's just like, yeah, it just so happens to, die if the opponent can establish that immediately, and you just don't draw the out. Which is, as we have seen today, very difficult to do, even when you play like 4 copies of the stuff with it. So... awkward. Right, what is this? What is this thing trying to do? So the Lux Ray... what does the Lux Ray do again?
The Lux Ray, it forces the opponent to bench.
Right, so...
DP1.
So the idea with this then, what? You're forcing the opponent to bench a thing, then the Dust Noir would make it so that they have to bottom, or like shuffle away one mon of your choice from their bench. Which still doesn't deal with their active, but sure. Is that forcing bench from the hand?
Let me get it.
Because I've noticed quite a lot of times basic Pokemon aren't staying in the hand, like, ever. Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, yeah, look at... Yeah, look at the opponent's hand and put a basic from the stuff there. Okay. See...
Good. This is the kind of deck that would be answered by Cess and probably very degenerate. So it is only Windstorm, which is curious.
Yeah,
It's a matchup fish, but
that's the other thing. A lot of these degenerate decks are just going to be chance and stuff, right? Whereas Cess is not just a thing that's played in like one deck as a chance, like, oh, I'm just gonna play this because I'm hoping to hit this matchup or something. It's a bit more than that. I would still keep an eye on this. Maybe we do want to like try this out at some point for it. But even then, what is this? This would be great encounters, right? When this comes out because of Crest level X.
Yeah.
Which then means the next set is
free Pachirisu. That's the set answer.
As I was going to say, that means the next set is Majestic Dawn, where Cess is coming back anyway. Right, because it's Worlds format. And we've pretty much established so far that the bands that we'd be looking at are only going to be until the Worlds formats anyway.
Right.
So... I don't think it's that big of a deal per se to look at, like, for one thing, and even then, I think this still dies to God of War, right?
I mean, probably.
So it's like, anyway, the point is, like, the Cess stuff being in Great Encounters isn't gonna matter too much because that's not the next set we're playing, and right after that, Cess is gonna come back anyway. So if we hit it now, it's not going to be a way for the finale set of this, where if you want to play that sort of silly thing, go ahead, because we'd want to show the format off in its entirety at that point. But right now it feels like it's stifling too much. It's taken a lot more of the fun out of it than I would like.
Honestly, the same thing's probably going to happen to Gallade and Gardevoir next round as well.
Oh yeah,
we'll see if they're awake and then it'll be gone.
Yeah, those aren't lasting more than a week.
We'll have to see.
Just for the health of the game.
I'm fairly sure you're correct, but we will have to see because...
Okay, so here's how it's going to go. It's going to be the collective health of the game vote versus the Guardi Waifu vote.
No, because I want to at least see what this is like first. That's the same with all of the stuff with it here, because it is very easy for a lot of things to be overhyped in theory and not actually be as ridiculous in practice. We have seen this plenty of times before, and we have seen this in other card games too. Very easily. Goat format is not the best not the best deck is Goats. It's certainly not. But that's what it's named after because that's what everybody played at the time. There's a non-zero chance that this thing is ridiculous and should never be more than 1 week, but there's also a pretty respectable chance that people just didn't play around it well enough, and that's something we will have to see. Willing to give everything a go at least once, and yeah, if it's a problem, we hit it. That's all there is to it,
Well, the other thing is it's, again, at least the way I think we are aiming to attempt or approach the ban list is it's not whether this is a problem, it's we just want to keep playing different decks, and if this is good, people will play it multiple times, and maybe we don't want them to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, that is fair. So, okay, yeah, you probably, even if you aren't actually a problem, you're probably only going to get 1 week anyway. Alright then, fair enough. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Go on.
I think we have an actual argument about Cess. A lot of these Stage 1 Cess decks are playing very similarly to each other. Like just meet condition of your attack, play your card, get Cess out quickly, bump.
Yeah, I guess so. There's like, because Cess turns off like over a third of the game, right, with the powers and bodies, it basically just reduces decision making to not being a decision to make, right? Because you have like maybe 3 actions you can do in a turn. Play a Pokemon, play a supporter, play an energy.
And because there's a pretty clear, most efficient way of doing that, you want to be as aggro as possible to win before the windstorms come down. The decks tend to play very similarly. Like stage 1s with basic strong attacks. Tricketune, 2 energy, hits 80 if you get the Blissey's 1 energy, builds up, does damage. The Banette is just get another Banette to discard to do the damage.
Oh, this is mean.
Is it funny that probably the most diverse Cess deck, the one we haven't mentioned yet, would be Ryegg's? Right? Because that actually has more than one attack that you are going to play in any given game.
And they're very different attacks.
Yeah, like that's actually one I didn't mention before with it. And it's kind of weird because we were talking about this before, because Sai and I played like almost 20 different probably more than 20 different decks between us in the RSPK testing stuff, and we did play some decks that had Cess in it as well. Like I played the Ryegg's deck in the stuff with it there, and it was good, but like it didn't feel like as much of a problem there. And I think the reason is because of admin, because it was actually a significant draw card that we could use that is not something that's available in this format. Like, if you want to take a chance on Wager for it, be my guest, but that could just be a shuffle like 7 cards from your hand into deck and draw 3 cards off it, you know?
I don't like Wager.
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, it's just like, because of the nature of a lot of the decks, not even thinking on it that way, it's like a lot of these decks will be resistant to basically any of the draw cards that rely on the opponent to have stuff, whether it's hand or deck or anything there. And yeah, it's like if you want a large hand size to the thing, so Copycat is playable, well the Cess decks don't have to do that. A lot of them play like 4 energy removal and all of that, and like plus powers, etc. So they can just burn their hand down as much as they need to. Oh, and you need 1 card in play, right? So that's not really something you can rely on. You can't rely on them having a high bench size most of the time, because only Cricketune out of those decks like constantly has a large bench size. And you can't rely on them having lots of cards in hand. Like, you can't rely on Wager because it's just gonna draw you 3 cards at the worst time, and you just lose to that as well, which the Cess decks are playing as well, by the way. So it's
when are you losing to RPS? Are we playing Yu-Gi-Oh or something?
Right, Sai, what
I don't
was
know,
this?
we're getting Chaos Temper Dragon soon.
God. Right, what's this thing you're mentioning with the whole Gyarados bit here?
Shuckle kinda shits on it.
Does it? I guess it kinda does.
I mean, the Gyarados could attack for P, right? You just use a...
Yeah, but the point is it can't use a body if it gets hit by fermented poison, right? Or ferment poison.
So it's just the kind of thing that
It forces
so
me to pay retreat and go into a different Gyarados at that point in order to actually attack, which is expensive, but is still potentially possible. Because yeah, my
And
only
there's also your warp points. You
yeah.
should be prepared for the kind of you should be prepared for this kind of effect, I think, because it's the same for stuff like confusion.
See, okay, here's the thing though, if I don't have to deal with Cess, I will play more Warp Point instead of those 4 Windstorm that I have in my deck, right? So I would be more prepared for that. I could fit the deck space to be more prepared for this than I am for... Because right now I have to play the 4 Cessation Crystal, and that's that. Because Warp Point's not a strong enough answer to deal with Cess.
Like, what this really hates is people using heal energy as their out.
No, because then you don't take damage, because heal energy is a special energy.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It hates on things that use it.
Oh, right, you're talking about the other way around. It's like it's it hates on. It's not that it hates in itself.
No,
okay,
yeah,
I get what you mean.
Sorry,
Yeah, it does dunk on heal energy, doesn't it?
The one time a Shuckle might actually be good.
I think there's another struggle layer which is at least funny. I'm not sure if it's good in this format or unlimited, something daft. I remember it doing something stupid.
Oh, Shuckle GX.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, Chuckle GX is basically Mr. Mime, which is kind of weird.
Yep.
Oh, is it odds or evens?
No, it's not that kind of thing. It's a minimum energy count, right?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
it's
Okay.
mysterious treasures, Mime.
To be fair, they've been very creative in ways to make Mr. Mime not take damage.
Oh yeah.
And that's the degenerate one.
Yeah, prevent all damage done by attacks to the opponent's Pokemon that have 2 or fewer energy attached to them. There's obviously the energy versus cards difference, but other than that, yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, I think it's more of an issue with unlimited, though I suppose there is rain dancing format alongside this.
That's very funny, actually, yeah, for Alligator Shuckle. No, but... I don't know,
I don't like this full art.
Nah,
A lot. Yeah, I prefer the GX to the standard art.
yeah. Okay, so, trying to circle back around, because we have seen these ones here. I think there's actually something, there's more of a challenge of going around stuff like the Shuckle and the Mime, where it's like you have to you have to play differently in the moment, but you can't exactly play differently around something stopping you from just, you know, playing the game, right? These are passive things where Cess is a lot more sort of active in just going, yeah, you don't get to do anything for the rest of this. And I don't know, like, yeah, maybe these will dunk on something that only ever plays special energy or whatnot, but that feels like it's your fault rather than the because yeah, maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, but it feels like there's more of a puzzle to solve with stuff like Shuckle and Mr. Mime. Whether that's a good puzzle or not is still, like, you know, up to the players, but it feels like that's more of a challenge rather than a you just don't get to play cards of any, you know, just don't get to do shit, which is lame as hell. That's why people don't like floodgates, you know.
I think the other thing which you kind of got close to was that Cess can go on strong attackers that are pressure.
Yeah.
Shuckle is Shuckle.
Right, yeah.
It's like a wet noodle. It's like,
like, what is Mr. Mime gonna do to you, right? You might take 50 if you get the coin toss wrong, or it does 20 to itself, so it's actively helping you kill it. Like, Mr. Mime's not gonna do anything, and it has to stay active for it to be relevant. Shuckle's not really doing a lot. Like, 10 plus poison is fine. Certainly games have been won for less, bubble coin flips, etc. But, yeah, it's not as if that's gonna, like, kill you in 2 turns. You're gonna have to put a lot of work in to actually get Shuckle to win here. And you can, like, maybe there's an argument for playing a hit and run or something for that, but they also still have retreat costs, and that's not something you can just wave away. Yeah, Shuckle's got some good stuff to it. I don't know. I think honestly think it would be more fun though to not have to just say, oh, yeah, this deck is obviously really cool, but it just immediately folds to, you know, a thing which is playable in wherever the hell you want. I'm actually almost surprised you didn't play it in the Infernape deck, Matt, because for the same reason I played it with a Blastoise EX and Battle Frontier, right? It's like you don't always need the Delcatty when you get towards the late game. So I'm actually a little surprised because you could have easily played one Cess in there and just been like, yeah, nuts to everything on this now, you know?
Yeah, I did consider it for sure. I don't know.
He
I mean,
pretty aggressively
building,
searching for energy though.
yeah, I was building the deck like when I got here, right? So I was
Mhm.
more or less just net decking it. The net deck didn't have it.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it also didn't have the nightly garbage run equivalent, so that was why that
Yup.
was.
Oh, I kind of just realized actually thinking on this, Infernape's got 0 retreat, so Cess is like not even a problem playing it in that deck, right? Because if you need your powers, just 0 retreat the Infernape, it's easy, you know?
Yep.
So, and if something as aggressive as Infernape can use the thing, and that's actually like using the powers to draw into the crystal as well, oh, that might be a problem. Yeah, the Delcatty EX has also got 0 retreat, remember that, so it's like, if you need your powers, because some Electrode EX decks did this actually in the RSPK format. It's like if you need to use Electrode EX, just switch into the Electrode because it can't have Cess on it, right? And then you just go, after you use your power, you go back into your thing with Cess. The opponent never gets to use their stuff, and you get to do whatever you want. So,
Right.
so I didn't
Yeah,
even
okay.
think of it in that angle. God damn. Right, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I think I interrupted you, but I was just saying, yeah, I think if I was to do it again, I would play 1 or 2. Yeah, I'm sure there's space. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was kind of tricky, but strong parts like that, it's worth it.
The fact of you could probably play Castaway in that deck then, because you still have energy draw that you could use the energy you Castaway for, so you still get a draw free and a search for Cess and a supporter for the next turn. Yeah, there would be other ways of doing that. And if something as ridiculous as Infernape can play it, and that's actually using the ability stuff as well as being able to block the opponent from ever doing it, starting to sound familiar, right? But Infernape does a lot more damage than God of War does, so... you know... Similar bulk levels too, before you try and bring that sort of argument in. Infernape's only 10 and less HP than God of War is, so...
Yeah. But, I mean, historically, that combination was not good, right? Infernape Crystal was not a thing, so...
I don't know if it was
No.
played. That doesn't necessarily mean it isn't good. I think Infernape was downplayed a lot because of Empoleon being so good.
Yeah,
As you've noticed today with Gyarados versus it, being weak to water is not good if one of the best decks of the format is water. And Empoleon also very regularly plays Cessation Crystal, by the way. We didn't see it here, and we didn't see it on when I played it because I was using powers to help with the thing. But Empoleon decks very regularly play Cessation Crystal as well.
What are the damage numbers on the later Empoleon anyway?
It usually uses Dual Splash, but Surf Together is actually insane if you need to use it. It's just it might damage your own guys as well. It's like 110 or something if you, or 100 if you full bench, right?
Yeah, that's Vocoing. Yeah, so I can see why that died. Because Empezon was the main competitor to Guardi, if I remember rightly. At least in Worlds format. It was this plus the Cursed Alloy Bronzong. Yeah, this time I could just wreck an Infernape deck.
This is a Kari one that we earlier got loaded up, so I'll just throw it over here.
Yeah, I know like almost the entire discussion has been on like Cess and such here. Is there anything else that you actually do want to not have playable next week? And we're looking at it from variety/fun side. It doesn't have to just be because it's like potentially too strong or whatever.
Right, yeah. I mean, I'd be looking to ban Infernape, Gyarados... what were even the other decks?
So there's a couple of odd ones, right?
One I never played UVAT, so you never saw it.
Oh,
but
right,
yeah.
Yeah, there's the Electivire Flygon. I guess the Shift React stuff is what Sai was mostly doing this time, and I played Swampert EX with Bronzong actually from this set because I ended up wanting the special metal side of
My
things.
secondary deck also ran Bronzong in a Nido
Oh,
Queen type
okay.
deck.
What were the like primary decks then? So I
My
didn't even
primary was
see the
Gardevoir
chip yet.
Gyarados, so you've
This
already...
one was my primary.
And my prime was Defire.
So I
Flygon.
guess Shiftry, Gyarados, Infernape.
It's worth noting that there's a new
Fire.
Fire next set. So
Is it good?
alright, it kind of accelerates. It I was talking about before. The problem is numbers rule, like name rule gets it. So if I just pull it out.
It's over here anyway, right? Because it's in that set.
Yeah, it's here. It's here.
Once during your turn before you attack, you may search your discard for a lightning and attach it to Electivire. Alright, so you don't play Flygon anymore, great.
Yeah, the problem is name rule, because I can only have 4 Fires. Like, I want 2 of these, 2 of the ones that actually attack, and then 2 of the level X, but I can't.
What do you mean? This guy is totally fine with that if you like flipping a bunch of coins.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Discharges.
played freaking Executor once, right? It just, no, I could see what you mean. You'd want like 2 of these. You would want one of the Giga Impact stuff and one for Pulse Drive. Obviously, it gets in its own way a little bit, sure, but no, I think that could still be a thing. But I also could easily say, yeah, maybe it's not good enough for it to matter. So maybe Fire
I'm
is fine
assuming
just to hit.
This is legal, right?
Where are we? What's the...
Dark Genes allowing
Yeah.
you to use level X. Okay, that sounds fun.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm
because it's
interested
the-
in
it's the
this.
level
This is
X
what I've
using
been
the body.
saying.
That's how it works.
Why do you think I want to play this? Yeah, no, it's I could see that though. Like the one of the Vires, yeah, because we probably don't need to see. Even with that one there, it's going to probably be too complicated to build anyway. So like one of the Vires is more than fine. The Gyarados I was going to advocate for hitting anyway, because I think Gyarados is one of those decks that could be troublesome without being... It might actually be interesting just to show this against Gardevoir midweek, but beyond that, yeah, Gyarados could be a problem without sets, I will say now. Yeah, Shiftry, sure. We've probably never seen that again anyway, so
I think
it's
I was
more than
thinking
fine.
about Amphi-Shiftry, but it diced the ground so hard.
Yeah, and Lucario's not going anywhere as far as like strong fighting, and Machamp is still playable too, so it's not as if fighting's going anywhere in terms of being playable. And then Infernape was the other one, I guess you said, right?
Yeah.
Beat it? Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I think most of us weren't building Infernape because we'd either already built it for DP or we didn't need to see more of it at the time. It's a good deck and it was good to see, but it's not one of those that we were that sort of fussed about whether it gets played or not because we had already seen it. So I'd be
I
more
had
than
it,
fine. Yeah,
pretty much.
exactly. So I'd be more than fine with Infernape not being played as well. There's another fire type that's going to be pretty good, if not this set, like next set anyway, right? With Magmortar is a thing. I think Magmortar, when Leafeon comes out, is going to be really good. So it's not as if fire is dead.
I don't think it needs. Like, as long as it can dodge the water matchups, which Gyarados getting banned helps, I don't think it needs the Leafeon.
Yeah, I mean, do keep in mind Empoleon isn't getting hit by all of this, so somebody might well bring Empo just because of that, so it's probably not safe enough yet when the actual deck in history that played this was Mortal Leafeon, so kind of the same reason why we didn't...
the list which said it picked up Leafeon to adapt to Empo.
Yeah.
Who coming down?
But it's the same reason why we didn't play... But why we over here didn't play Garchomp, right? Is because we're waiting for it for later, or when the Togekiss comes out, I guess.
The level X.
And potentially the level X, yeah. But yeah, that would be pretty much my advocates of it, though. I know
Okay,
it's...
Cal,
Oh.
sorry.
Go on, go on.
I have one question for you. Garchomp Ho.
Too complicated, I think. I think you pick one or the other for the Togekiss deck.
No, not using Toga. Using Recover.
Oh god, here we go.
The
You
best
did just
target-
load it
the
in,
pro-
right?
The problem with that is that the best target for
Wait,
a cover
that's
is
not one.
usually another Garchomp.
Yeah,
It doesn't
probably.
say basic because it.
Wait, where is this thing? Because you did just load stuff in.
Yeah.
No, that's the
No, that's
the
wrong
C.
level, right?
Exactly.
Oh.
That's not the right one.
Doofus.
Yeah, I'm sorry if like the setting is not the way we're thinking it with this, but I think even if it is just temporary in the interest of having more entertaining decks show up, then it's maybe the best bet. There's still time for it at the end of the format anyway.
Like, the problem with Restore is that the best target for Restore is another Garchomp.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, because like Garchomp is probably doing 110 at that point, whereas you need another attach and then Ho is doing 80. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I would add the maybe cards from last week too to my
Well,
or my prospective pin list.
Okay.
stuff like Cricketune, which is probably dying anyway.
Oh, sorry, not last week, but well, okay, yeah, I had those sort of set aside too. I don't know if we like wanted to do Blissey, Cricketune, etc. from last week since Cal wasn't here. But I was thinking week before that, so like Raichu, what was
The
it?
Raichu's probably not getting used again. The Weavile is very similar but better.
Rayquaza, Delta.
Yeah, I honestly am kind of shocked that Ray Delta was even played again last week after the after what it was like before. But this is of course me just hearing secondhand, and all of my stuff keeps getting frozen.
Me trying to look for Raichu
Oh, no.
partners. 'Cause that,
Wait, did you play Ray EX last week or 2 weeks ago?
last week.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess that would go with it. What was played 2 weeks ago with? I played
RSPK.
Ryax.
Yeah, it was RSPK, so a lot of the stuff wasn't even actually in thing for that.
Okay, so maybe I'll think about that. I guess I would still potentially ban stuff that's relevant from it. Raichu, Empoleon, whatever else was played.
I don't do. Well, it's kind of awkward when we're trying to ban over format lines, especially because it's been like a month since we last played a real format. Like the real, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if we would have been doing that, you wouldn't have been allowed to play Infernape this week. I'll just say that now because that wouldn't have survived
that wouldn't have
either.
survived.
So I don't think people are going to bring the Raichu stuff at this point, especially if Cess isn't in the thing. But sure, that can ding it. But I think hitting Empoleon at this point, after having just played Infernape today, which also would have been hit for the same reason, wouldn't really be fair, to be honest.
I think it's pretty safe to say that there's kind of some allowance for decks for cards to come back after a rotation, because often they come back with significant changes. Not always. I think it should be consideration for things coming off after a rotation.
Okay. I mean, I don't see a problem with having played Infernape. Like, people could have played Empoleon, and I had asked if we wanted to ban stuff, and people opted not to. You know what I mean?
I just didn't want to ban anything before Cal even got a chance to play.
Yeah, I get that too. That's why I have Blissey and Garchomp and Ray on the question mark line here.
I don't think Garchomp showcase strong enough to warrant a ban just yet.
I don't want to be hard on Leo, but his deck just kind of didn't function.
It was too overcomplicated.
Yeah.
This is where I warned you about this before when you mentioned the stuff. Garchomp itself is not a deck that has been fully realized at this stage of the game. This is where we could easily cynically have said, oh, what if somebody bought Honchkrow this week just so that it would get banned so that Honchkrow level X couldn't get played? Garchomp
Right,
is a
so
very,
then-
very similar situation to that. It is not at its full power whatsoever yet, and it still has potential to actually be interesting later on.
My argument would be so ban it now and unban it then. Just like we could, well, it's not relevant since it's back to back, but ban Honchkrow, immediately unban it for level X.
Yeah. Significant changes. Like,
It doesn't
just-
even need like a fancy phrase for the reason. Like it just, if we want to play it again, that's cool.
Just forcing a lot of
Like-
admin for no reason, though. I understand what you're saying, but you're forcing a lot of busy work for no reason doing this.
so.
I guess so.
Well,
I mean,
so
what if
it's-
Leo brings Garchomp again next week? I feel like that is a possibility. It reduces deck variability.
I don't think I'll have with the Garchomp, but I can see it happening in the future.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, this would be my ban list here, and I've forgotten a couple from the RSPK decks because I think I only have Raichu and Ray here.
That's because they're RSPK decks. Most of those have already rotated.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say RSPK is a different enough format that if you bring the same list here to this current format, I'm going to question your judgment.
Okay, so you guys, do you want to just do Shiftry, Vire, Infernape, Gyarados, question mark Cessation?
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally not going to play Empoleon, so I guess I don't really care either way. Maybe somebody does want to play it as a potential thing. It's not an anti-Gardevoir anyway, though, so I don't know. I'm personally not going to play it. Raichu I'd be more than fine with. I don't think anyone's bringing it, but even if they did, it has been played a fair bit at this point between you and, you know, my midweek stuff. Blissy's not a good card without Cess, so it's up to you on that. I don't really care, and nobody's going to bring it anyway, so who really gives a shit? And Ray, yeah, I mean, it's been overplayed anyway. It was overplayed before last week, so sure. Garchomp, I really don't know. I mean, I understand your point, though. It feels like it's just hitting it for the sake of hitting it, and it just feels cynical to do so, but I mean, I guess if there's no objections to it, then sure, but it just feels weird. But then again, I suppose it depends. If you want to enforce Leo to change it to a different deck, then sure, that is something you could do for it.
I guess it covers the case of him not having a chance to build and just rerunning it. So it would be a disaster for him. Like, he'd be better off just net decking Guardi at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I guess. Like, we're probably spending more effort arguing over it than we'd say if I just lapped.
Yeah.
Banning it.
It's just it's much more busy work than it's worth to ban it, but at the same time, I don't particularly care, I guess, because it will be playable regardless at that point. But it feels like it's breaking the point of things, I suppose. But whatever. Yeah, if you want to just hit it for next week so that Leo doesn't play it, then sure.
Cool. I mean, yeah, I guess that's my vote. Is anyone opposed to any of these? And I guess we should tackle cessations separately since I don't necessarily vote to ban this one, but I think I understand that you guys do want to, is the conclusion. But I guess let's just do the other ones first.
Yeah, the other ones seem pretty easy. Like I said, the Raichu's getting outclassed by the Weavile next set anyway, so it's literally irrelevant. The Ray Delta's just is just way out of date at this point, so fair enough. Shiftery, I already said my point on. I was thinking about doing it with Amphi, but nah, too weak to Brown.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then Cess.
I feel like if at this point, with the fact of it really does just make things a lot less fun with the way the current setup on stuff is. Yeah, because if we don't hit that, which there's probably, like, even more than we can think of at the moment, but there's probably at least half a dozen other things that would need to get hit as a result of not hitting it, which is even worse, to be honest. Not least of all Cricketune, but way more than just that, to be honest.
Anyone want to second that?
Yeah, it's okay. I haven't been convinced that the with Cess is better than the better without Cess, so it can go.
Okay. I'll vote against, but that's already 2-1.
So unless Sai wants to change his mind.
No, I don't think I do.
I don't know, Sai. You do seem like a big Cess guy.
He would have been in the actual draft. He was the one who pulled the most of it, right? But
I had the most Cess, but
did you? Oh yeah, I
No,
guess you had 3
I had
and
2.
yeah, side 2. Okay. Yeah.
There were 6 Cess in total.
Cool. Alright, well, we have our first ban list.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I don't know if Empoleon snuck in there or not. Are people on board banning Empoleon? Because I think Cal said he wasn't super
whatever,
inclined to.
Because I would want it to come back anyway when the other Napoleon shows up. I forget which set is that.
That's in Majestic Dawn, so we're fine on that front. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to build it anyway, so it's like, I don't think there's as much interest in building it anyway, so I guess if nothing else, it just stops another DP1 thing coming in next week. Maybe that's enough. I don't know. There are still probably enough decks out of this set to even look at. And there were a lot of things that just didn't even get played this week as well, which I did have, like Nido Queen myself was one that I, focusing on the Mysterious Treasures one, not the Delta one, was another one that I had built ready. And yeah, there's enough stuff that hasn't even been seen yet that will be fine.
Next set looks quite strong, so there's going to be decks coming out of it.
Yeah, I mean, my reason for Empoleon is just I feel like I've seen enough Empoleon already.
Yeah, and that's fair.
A good enough reason.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's why I wouldn't be building it myself. But then I also wouldn't have built Infernate for the same reason. But at the same time, it's whatever, right? Because Infernate is still a cool deck to show off as well. This card is definitely coming back later on, with the Majestic Dawn one being the main focus. So it's not even quite the same deck at that point. So, and even then, I know this is going back to it, but if we didn't hit this card, freaking Crystal, we would have to hit this as a result anyway. So whatever, who cares? I'm fine with it. Doesn't change my plans at all. So I don't even know what my plans are yet, other than Hodgegrow, to be honest, because everybody's gonna freaking build Gardylade. So you know. As much as I love the card, it's like, do I even want to? Because everybody else is already going to have their thing, right?
I'm probably going to build Gardylade and build not Gardylade, just so I can do both. Like, play the Gardylade mirrors and then play something else on the side to try out the new things.
Yeah, that was we were talking about that last week, right? Or maybe 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially just expecting
Maybe
2
have
decks.
anyone who wants to bring Guardy bring something else as a backup.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.